types of questions and different problems. So let us start. The first question: from the following organic compounds, benzoic acid, dimethyl ether, ethanol, write the name of the compound which contains carbonyl group, ether group. Yes, the compound which contains carbonyl group is benzoic acid. The compound which contains ether group is dimethyl ether. Next point: what is the name of the compound which forms aliphatic ester? The answer here is the compound which forms aliphatic ester is C2H5OH. Next type of question, my dear students. Write the structure formula of each of the following: pyrogallol, glycerol. Here, pyrogallol, my dear student, as shown on the screen, 1,2,3-trihydroxybenzene. Glycerol, as shown on the screen, trihydric alcohol, as shown on the screen. My dear student, next type of question, give reason for the following. We detect charging car battery by measuring the density of the acid using hydrometer. Because the density of the acid in the charged battery 1.28 till 1.30 gram per cubic centimeter, so if it is less than 1.2 gram per cubic centimeter, so the battery needs to be recharged to increase the concentration of the acid. Next point: the saturated monocarboxylic aliphatic acids are named fatty acids because large number of them are present in the form of esters with glycerol. Next point: iron is paramagnetic substance due to the presence of 4 unpaired electrons in 3d orbitals which produce magnetic field attracted to the external magnetic field. Next type of question: for each hydrocarbon from column A, choose what suits column B. C3H8, C6H12, C5H8, C2H4. Aliphatic alkene, normal alkane, cycloalkane, aromatic compound. Aliphatic alkyne. So C3H8 will be normal alkane. C6H12 which will be cycloalkane. C5H8 will be aliphatic alkyne. C2H4 it will be aliphatic alkene. Next type of question: calculate the concentration of hydroxyl ion concentration in 0.1 molar of ammonium hydroxide solution at 25 degrees Celsius, given that the equilibrium constant Ka equal 1.7 times 10 power negative 5. Solution here, the hydroxide ion equals square root Kb times C, so square root 1.7 times 10 power negative 5 times 0.1, it will be 1.33 times 10 power negative 3 molar. Next type of question: the following reaction has reached the equilibrium state. H2 plus CO2 gives H2O plus CO, and delta H equal 41.1 kilojoule. What is the action of each of the following changes on the concentration of hydrogen gas? Adding excess of carbon dioxide gas, raising the temperature. The answer: if the temperature is raised, the concentration of hydrogen gas decreases. And if excess carbon dioxide is added, the concentration of hydrogen gas decreases. Remember, my dear students, we applied Le Chatelier principle. Next type of question: by using symbolic equation only, explain what happens on each of the following cases. Addition of iron C chloride to ammonium thiocyanate. As shown on the screen, FeCl3 plus 3NH4SCN, it gives FeSCNO3 plus 3NH4Cl. Reduction of ethanoic acid. As shown on the screen, CH3COH plus 2H2 in the presence of copper chromate 200 degrees Celsius, it gives ethanol and water is produced. Reaction of red hot iron with water vapor. As shown on the screen, iron reacts with water vapor at 500 degrees Celsius. It gives magnetic iron oxide and hydrogen gas is produced. Reduction of iron to oxide by using carbon monoxide. Here, iron to oxide plus CO above 700 degrees, it gives iron plus CO2. Treatment of benzene alkyl sulfonic acid with caustic soda. As shown on the screen, when reacting the alkyl benzene sulfonic acid with sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium salt of alkyl benzene sulfonic acid, which is detergent, and water is produced. Next type of questions: how can you differentiate directly between litmus and methyl orange indicator? By adding a drop of each of them to sodium hydroxide solution. As shown on the screen, the litmus, the color changes into blue, while in methyl orange the color of the solution turns yellow. Methane and ethane. By passing each of them in bromine water, which is dissolved in carbon tetrachloride, the methane and ethane, the methane red color of bromine water is not changed, while ethane the red color of bromine water disappears. Copper sulfate and aluminum sulfate. By adding sodium hydroxide solution to each of them, here copper will give the blue precipitate, turns black by heating, while in aluminum white gelatinous precipitate formed soluble excess sodium hydroxide. Ethanol and tertiary epiethanol. By adding acidified violet potassium permanganate solution to each of them, then heating the water bath, here ethanol, the solution is decolorized, while tertiary epiethanol, the solution not decolorized. Next type of question, write the scientific term. At constant temperature, the rate of chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of multiplication of each reactant concentration. Yes, it is law of mass action. Compounds which are characterized by the presence of one or more carboxylic acid attached to the benzene ring. Yes, the answer it will be aromatic carboxylic acid. Next one. Compounds in which the carbonyl is attached to alkyl group and one hydrogen atom. Yes, it will be secondary alcohol. Next type of question, my dear student. By balanced chemical equation, explain the effect of heat on iron 2 sulfate, iron 3 hydroxide. Here, iron 2 sulfate on heating gives iron 3 oxide and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide as shown on the screen. Iron 3 hydroxide on heating above 200, it gives iron 3 oxide and water. Next type of questions. Write the ionic equation which represents the solubility of sodium chloride in water. NaCl solid plus water gives Na positive plus OH negative plus H positive plus Cl negative. What are the tools used in titration process? Conical flask, pipette, and burette. Next type of question. By balanced chemical equation, explain how can you obtain iron 3 chloride from black iron oxide. Here, as the equation proceeds on the screen, Fe3O4 plus 4CO more than 700 degrees, it gives 3Fe plus 4CO2. Then Fe plus Cl 3Cl2 by heat gives FeCl3. Next type of question, write the structure formula of each of the following. Ethyl hydrogen sulfate, 2-pentene. Ethyl hydrogen sulfate, as shown on the screen, CH3CH2HSO4 or CH3CH2OSO3H. 2-pentene, CH3CH2CH double bond CH3. Next type of question, my dear student. Rewrite the following tools, then fill the spaces. H positive, OH negative, pH, and BOH. Here, H positive 1 times 10 power negative 1, and BOH is 13. And here, second line, OH negative 1 times 10 power negative 9, and pH equal 9. the solution here, the H positive will be 1 times 10 power negative 9, and the OH negative in the first column will be 1 times 10 to power negative 13, third column pH equal 1, and last column BOH equal 5. Next type of question, what is the role of each of the following? Potassium permanganate in Bayer reaction. Yes, it is oxidizing agent. Zymase enzyme in the production of alcohol in industry. Yes, glucose solution is fermented easily by the action of zymase enzyme, forming ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. What is meant by each of the following? The standard solution. It is a solution of no concentration which is used to identify the concentration of another solution. Molecular formula. It is the formula which indicates the number and the kind of atoms for elements in which the chemical compound is formed, and doesn't show the kind of the linkage between atoms in the molecule. The equilibrium state. It is a stationary system apparently, but dynamic system in reality. Next type of questions. What are the substances 1, 2, 3, 4 which complete the following diagram? Here 1, and here 2, and here 3 as shown on the screen. And here is 4. Here number 1 is vanadium pentoxide. In the oxidation of toluene, it gives benzoic acid. Number 2, here sodium benzoate is formed when sodium hydroxide reacts with benzoic acid. Number 3, here on dry distillation of sodium benzoate, it gives benzene in the presence of calcium oxide as drying agent and decrease the melting point of the mixture. And 4 is anhydrous aluminum chloride, AlCl3, and here the Friedrich-Crafts alkylation occurs. Next type of question, compare between chemical equilibrium and ionic equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium, it is a dynamic system obtained when the rate of forward reaction equals the rate of backward reaction, and the concentration of the reactants and product are unchangeable. Ionic equilibrium, it is the equilibrium arising between the molecules of weak electrolyte and the ion resulting from it. Next point, what are the solution types of the following compounds, acidic or basic or neutral? Ammonium nitrate, potassium chloride. Here the solution ammonium nitrate is acidic as it comes from hydrolysis of salt here containing weak alkali and strong acid. Potassium chloride, as potassium chloride is neutral as it hydrolyzes into strong alkali and strong acid. Next type of questions, write the scientific term for each of the following. A substance that causes a change in the rate of chemical reaction without itself being changed or without affecting the equilibrium position. So it is catalyst. Next type of question, illustrate the balanced chemical equation. How can you obtain the following? Picric acid from chlorobenzene. Here, picric acid from chlorobenzene. Chlorobenzene is alkaline hydrolysis by sodium hydroxide in the presence of 300 degrees Celsius and 300 atmospheric pressure. It gives phenol or carbolic acid, and sodium chloride is produced. Then phenol on nitration by conc nitric acid in the presence of conc sulfuric acid, it gives 2,4,6 trinitrophenol, which is picric acid, releasing 3 molecules of water. Next type of question, choose the correct answer, then write the balanced chemical equation which is to illustrate your choice. When hydrobromic acid reacts with propene, what is produced? Propyl bromide, 1,2-dibromopropene, 2-bromopropane, 1-bromopropane. Yes, the answer it will be 2-bromopropane. As the equation proceeds on the screen, propene plus HBr on applying Markovnikov rule, so it gives 2-bromopropane. When water dropped on calcium carbide, what gas is produced? Here, methane, ethine, ethene, ethane. Yes, the answer it will be ethine. As the equation proceeds on the screen, calcium carbide plus water gives acetylene and the calcium hydroxide is produced. When iron 3 hydroxide is heated above 200 degrees, what is produced? Iron 2 oxide, magnetic iron oxide, iron 3 oxide, iron 2 hydroxide. Yes, the answer it will be iron 3 oxide. As the equation proceeds on the screen, iron 3 hydroxide above 200 gives iron 3 oxide and water is produced. Next type of question. What is the number of hydrogen moles necessary to react with 1 mole of each of the following to obtain saturated compound? Aromatic benzene? Yes, the answer it will be 3 moles of hydrogen. 2-pentyne? Yes, the answer it will be 2 moles of hydrogen, as containing 2 pi bonds. Next type of question, give reason for. Copper is considered a transition element, though its electronegative structure of the outer shell is Cu 3d10-4s1. Because the sublevel is filled in the free state of copper metal, but in the oxidation state +2, the sublevel D will be partially filled D9. Next point. The polynitroorganic compounds are very explosive substances. Yes, the answer, because polynitroorganic compounds contain their own fuel, which is carbon besides oxygen, which is oxidizing agent. These compounds burn rapidly and a great amount of heat and gases are produced, accompanied by explosion. This is due to the weakness of the bond NO to form 2 strong bonds CO and in the carbon dioxide, and the NN bond in nitrogen molecule. Next type of question, my dear students, how can you differentiate practically between ethanol and 2-methyl-2-propanol? By adding acidified potassium permanganate solution to both of them. If the violet color of potassium permanganate disappears, it is ethanol, and if the violet color doesn't disappear, it will be 2-methyl-2-butanol. Next type of question, calculate the equilibrium constant for the reaction. H2 plus I2 gives 2HI, provided that the concentration of iodine and hydrogen and hydrogen iodide are the following. At equilibrium 0.1105, 0.1005, 0.7815 mole per liter respectively. Solution here, Kc equal Hi power 2 over H2 times I2. So 0.7815 power 2 over 0.1105 times 0.1105. So it gives 50. Next question. One of the following compounds is used as initiator to obtain mixture of ortho and para-chlorotoluene. Naphthalene, normal hexane, cyclic hexane. Write the balanced equation which illustrates these reactions. As shown on the screen here, normal hexane by heating in the presence of platinum, it gives benzene and 4H2. Then benzene reacts with methyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, and heat gives toluene and releasing HCl. Then toluene, when reacting with chlorine, it gives orthochlorotoluene and para-chlorotoluene and 2 mole of HCl. Next question, my dear student, which is problem. 4 grams of impure sodium chloride were dissolved in water, and an excess of silver nitrate solution was added to precipitate 9.256 grams of silver chloride. Calculate the percentage of sodium chloride in the sample. Here the atomic mass of sodium equal 23, chlorine 35.5, silver 108. Here's the answer. As the equation proceeds on the screen, NaCl plus silver nitrate gives NaNO3 plus AgCl. So the molecular mass of silver chloride 108 plus 35.5 equals 143.5 gram. The molecular mass in grams of sodium chloride 23 plus 35.5 equals 58.5 gram. Since each 58.5 gram of sodium chloride gives 143 gram of silver chloride, so x gram of sodium chloride produce 9.256 gram of silver chloride. Therefore, the mass of sodium chloride 58.5 times 9.256 over 143.5 equals 3.7733 gram. So percentage of sodium chloride 3.773, 3 over 4 times 100 it equals 94.3325%. Next type of question: how can you determine the concentration of sodium hydroxide solution by using 0.1 molar HCl? The answer here: put 25 milliliter of sodium hydroxide into a conical flask using pipette, then adding 2 drops from phenolphthalein, so the color of the solution turns red. Add hydrochloric acid from the pipette until the color of the solution turns colorless. Observation: the volume of added hydrochloric acid at the end point equals 21 milliliter. The calculation steps: number of moles of HCl equal concentration times the volume. So 0.1 times 21 over 1000. To change it into liter, it equals 2.1 times 10 power negative 3 mole. From the reaction equation, HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. As 1 mole of HCl reacts with 1 mole of NaOH here, so 2.1 times 10 power negative 3 mole of HCl reacts also with 2.1 times 10 power negative 3 mole of NaOH. Since the volume of sodium hydroxide equals 25 milliliter, so 25 times 10 power negative 3, to change it into liter, then the concentration of sodium hydroxide equal number of moles over volume in liter equal 2.1 times 10 power negative 3 over 25 times 10 power negative 3, so equals 0.084 mole per liter or molar. Converted alcohol or red spirit. It consists of ethanol 85% plus poisonous substance, example methanol, and 5% that causes madness and blindness, and 1% of another additive substance plus bad smell substance like pyridine or bone oil and coloring dyes, and the rest is water. Soap. It is the sodium salt of high carboxylic acid. Ammonolysis. It is a reaction between ester and ammonia to form acid amide and alcohol. As the equation proceeds on the screen, ethyl acetate plus ammonia, it gives acetamide plus ethanol. Here, ethyl benzoate plus ammonia, it gives benzamide and ethanol is produced. Saponification. It is the hydrolysis of fat or oil, which is triglyceride ester, in the presence of strong alkali as sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. Carbohydrates are polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. For example, glucose or fructose having the same molecular formula C6H12O6. This is the structure formula of glucose as shown on the screen: CHO, CHOH4, CH2OH. CH2OH, C double bond O, CHOH all 3, CH2OH is the structure formula of fructose. So glucose is polyhydroxyaldehyde while fructose is polyhydroxyketone. Bakelite. It is type of thermosetting cross-linking plastic which is heat resistant, used in the electric instrument and the ashtrays. Esterification. It is a reaction of alcohol with organic acids to form ester and water. As the equation proceeds on the screen, general formula of acids are COOH plus general formula of alcohol ROH. It gives, in the presence of consulfuric acid, RCOR, which is ester and water is produced. For example, acetic acid reacts with ethanol in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid forming ethyl acetate ester and water. As the equation proceeds on the screen, CH3COOH plus C2H5OH ethanol, it gives, in the presence of consulfuric acid, CH3COO C2H5 ethyl acetate ester and water is produced. Proteins. They are polymers of amino acids. Marugh oil. It is used as local oil absorbed by skin to decrease the pains of rheumatism. The next type of question, choose the correct answer, giving reason. The product of halogenation of nitrobenzene is orthochloronitrobenzene, parachloronitrobenzene, orthonitrochlorobenzene, metachloronitrobenzene. Yes, the answer it will be metachloronitrobenzene, as the nitro group is meta-directing group. So we can say, because nitro group is one of the groups which directs the reagent to the meta position of the benzene ring. Iron reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to form what? Iron 2 chloride only, iron 2 chloride and hydrogen, iron 3 chloride only, iron 3 chloride and hydrogen. Yes, the answer will be iron 2 chloride and hydrogen. The reason for that, because iron reacts with dilute mineral acids to form iron 2 salts, and the hydrogen gas will be produced that prevents the formation of iron 3 salts. Next point, on adding sodium hydroxide solution to aluminum salt solution, we obtain white gelatinous precipitate soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, white color, yellow precipitate soluble in dilute acid, white gelatinous precipitate soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Yes, the answer here, my dear student, on adding sodium hydroxide solution to aluminum salt solution, we obtain white gelatinous precipitate soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Due to the formation of sodium metaaluminate, which is soluble in water. As the equation proceeds on the screen, AlOHO3 plus NaOH gives sodium metaaluminate NaLO2 plus 2H2O. My dear students, we have reached to the end of our program today. I hope you understood all the points that we discussed today and different type of questions. So till we meet again, my best wishes for you.